Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chef Val Live. I'm coming to you today on March 9th, 2024, and March 9th is my mother's birthday also. And so today we are talking more about the bundle. Have you heard about the bundle? I sure hope so. It's called the Vegan Health Bundle. I myself have been talking about it, and so has my special guest, Nan, nonstop, because it's an incredible deal. And it's only for sale for one more day. Tomorrow, March 10th, is the last day. You have the opportunity to get over $8,000 worth of merchandise for only $49. This is cookbooks, cooking classes, cooking courses, nutritional classes, exercise classes, biographies, or they're not biographies, they're autobiographies of people who have overcome illnesses using healthy, vegan, whole foods. Yes, food is medicine. And this is a huge digital bundle. So it's digital, and you get it on your computer or your phone, and then you can download whatever you like, and you'll have it forever. It's a tremendous, tremendous deal. So today, I have an incredible special guest, Nan Simonsen. And I have to tell you, I didn't know Nan before the bundle. And we hooked up in a Zoom before the bundle where somebody was trying to teach us how to use Instagram, which I still find complicated. And so as soon as I saw Nan, I thought, who is this beautiful lady? Because I just thought her smile was beautiful. She was beautiful. And so we became friends, and she's been going live like me, and she's been doing interviews. And she's a sweet soul. She takes the time to listen to the people that she's interviewing. And so I started watching her interviews, and I thought, what a sweet soul. She just comes across very sweet. And I also love the fact that she teaches classes like I teach classes. We like to teach our students so that they know everything. We're not in a rush, hurry. We're like, here's the food. Here's the nutritional value of it. This is why you want to eat it. And this is how you prepare it. And so her and I are like, I don't know how to put that. I don't want to say laid back, cool, but we're very professional and thorough in our classes. And so our classes, whether you want to take Nan's classes or my classes, you're going to learn so much information. So welcome, Nan. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell people, like, how long have you been living this lifestyle, and what's your background?
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. I have to start with a story because I was doing a video and I wasn't getting a chat because I was doing it on Zoom. This is all new to me, this live. I learned it for the bundle. So I would put it up after I did a Zoom, but somebody commented on my YouTube. It's YouTube, Nan Simonsen. Somebody commented, it was a gentleman, and he said, I like your video, but why don't you just say what you have to say and then end it? It would be so much shorter. And I had to write back to him, and I said, I'm on here to teach and train and show a recipe. I'm so sorry you don't like my style. You would probably be happier with somebody on Instagram. And I meant that because I can't do what they do that they do so well there. And that is show quick little things, a recipe that is and then it's done, because I have to tell everything about the food, the prep, the mechanics of it, and the nutritional value.
Yes.
Let me tell you why that is the case. I am Nan Simonsen. I am a whole food, plant-based health coach, health and wellness coach with a lifestyle medical practice. And that is so much of who I am. That all came about through a bit of a past. And I'll take you back to 2018, when in the first part of the year, I found out that my cholesterol was 230, that I had beginnings of rheumatoid arthritis, that I was pre-diabetic. I had a sludgy gallbladder that they wanted to take out. Isn't that ugly? I'd almost rather have stones than sludge. And what the physician finds their protocol to be is, when they see labs like this, they send you off to specialists. And so I had all those specialists. can certainly spend a lot of time at doctor's offices when things aren't going well for you. And the physicians, all these specialists, including a cardiologist who is in his 40s, and I'm rather shocked that he would have said this to me. When he said, you need to go on statins and we need to put you on statins now, I said, nah, I think I'm going to let food take care of this. And he said, food has no more than 20% to do with cardiovascular disease, if even that. Now, think about that. That's 20, 30 years of ignored science that began with Dean Ornish, Caldwell Esselstyn, proving that we could reverse cardiovascular disease with diet, whole food, plant-based, low oil, low salt. So I was appalled, but I even had enough information to be appalled because I had been in a coaching training through the Institute of Integrative Nutrition. I took their health coaching course and then their gut health course, their hormone health course, their coaching mastery course. And this was all in nearing the end of 2018 that I was ready to get my certifications. And so then I went to a class at a botanic garden. And this was just, by then I was a landscape designer. I had spent at that point about 18 years designing landscapes very successfully. I had award-winning gardens, and they were water-wise gardens. So I went to this class, saw it there, went to the class. They taught us for 3 hours. They fed us a plant-based meal. And I thought, that's it. That's what I've been looking for. The Institute of Integrative Nutrition believes in biodiversity. They showed us the possibilities in terms of dietary choices, but no recommendations. So I was still looking, and I thought, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. Brought home the details to my husband, went to a conference in Ohio of Pam Popper, who had a program that educated people to train in plant-based nutrition. And that's the fella that I had met at the Botanic Garden. So I got that same certification, not even to use, but for the education of it. What happened is that I went to a cooking class locally at a lifestyle medical practice that was 4 minutes from my home that I didn't even know about. A friend who was part of the practice said, oh, well, they're teaching plant-based nutrition. Why don't you go to their cooking class? Turns out they were looking, when they asked me, because I wasn't a member, well, how did you know about us? And I told them, I said, I'm doing this here tonight because I want to learn more about plant-based nutrition, because I'm becoming a health coach. I'll get my certification in a month. And this is what I'm going to teach. And they said, we're looking for a health coach. The one you just saw is retiring. And that was it. That was the beginning of my coaching. That was with a lifestyle medical practice. And it was the most fortuitous thing that could have happened. And I say that because if I had been with any other kind of a practice, I would be, well, part of that world of seeing a patient for 10, 15 minutes, telling them what to do, but really following it up with prescriptions and procedures. Instead, the base of lifestyle as medicine, and it's all from the College of Lifestyle Medicine that this is taught. It's the fastest growing physician certification program out there, because a lot of doctors are practicing medicine and realizing they're not curing, they're not reversing disease, they're simply treating symptoms. And so a lot of doctors are being certified this way. Well, the physician of that practice, Dr. Wayne Dysinger, is one of the founding members of the College of Lifestyle Medicine, was their third president. So I've been under the auspices of one of the founding members. And you can't work in this kind of environment that I'm in and not be in awe of the body's ability to help itself and to heal itself when given what it needs. And that's what we are taught from the College of Lifestyle Medicine. That's what we teach. That's what I teach, and that is the pillars of lifestyle medicine. So I began with them. I saw remarkable reversal of disease. I saw many people come sick and within months are off all medication. And about 2 years into that, the Institute of Integrative Nutrition was offering a class, Write Your Dream Book. I was about to turn, and that was dream. I sort of said that in a fuzzy tongued way, but Write Your Dream Book. And I registered for the class 6 months before turning 70. And I thought, I have no idea what I'll write about, but it's going to have something to do with what I'm seeing in this medical field by making these kinds of choices. So I ended up publishing Aging Powerfully. And this book ended up being one of the winning books. There were 3 people who they were going to give their tuition back. And so it was well over $1,000. And I was one of the 3 people that won the contest of published authors of their class once we published our books. So Aging Powerfully is a bit of a memoir because there's a backstory to all of this, and eating disorder involved in that as well. It talks about that, but what it really talks about is this word powerfully as an acronym for 10 lifestyle modalities.
I love acronyms. Can you tell us what the acronym is for?
Oh, okay. All right. So it's P is purpose. We've got to have purpose, a reason for doing what we're doing, or quite often we're probably not going to try very hard. O is others. We believe in lifestyle medicine that we don't do anything alone very well, that the community makes a huge difference. As a matter of fact, loneliness creates so much stress. It can kill people even at a greater rate than, I'm going to say, bad nutrition. So purpose, others, W, whole food, plant-based. The College of Lifestyle Medicine recommends a plant-based whole food dietary lifestyle. E is for exercise. We have to move our body. We have to move it regularly. R is for resilience. And under the word resilience, we mean rest. And that means at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep a day. You can come in with 6, but man, it's just on the cusp of being unhealthy. So it's prioritizing sleep and prioritizing stress management. And then F is for it's for fasting. We do talk about the benefit of time restricted feeding. As a matter of fact, I usually go 14 hours a day without any food. That's dinner ending at 6:30, not eating again until 8:30. Easy as can be, but it gives my body a lot of time for rest, rejuvenation, and recovery. So fasting. And I've done 5-day water fasts, actually many times. U is for Oh, Nan. Let me think about that. L and L is love and laugh. And Y is you, to celebrate whoever you are in whatever form you are. And rather than compare, embrace who and what we are and carry that with pride. And you is, Nan, I just went over, unafraid. Living
unafraid. That's a good one.
living unafraid. In other words, instead of looking at life as something that might be dangerous, look at everything as an adventure. Look at everything as a possibility. Look at anything in our way as something to conquer, not to fear and back away from. So I give lots and lots. It's almost like a reference guide after that bit of memoir in there. And in the memoir, I talk about an eating disorder that owned me for most of my adult life and how I overcame that. So that's who I am. That's what I do. And in the book, I espouse my mission. I put it out there, and that is that my mission now, and I wrote this in 70, I'm now 73. And I wrote then 3 years ago that my mission was then and still is to go on for the next 1, 2, or 3 decades, passing along the word of what we can do with lifestyle as medicine to age powerfully and continue all the way into old age, squaring the curve. And that means stay healthy, 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 healthy. Boom. When our body's done with it, it's done with it. Rather than what we tend to do in our society, get
Yeah.
sick, 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 sick.
Yeah.
Procedures, processes,
Yes.
pills, and it's miserable the last 10 years. One of my heroes, her name was Margaret Fast, and I designed her front yard and then her backyard. She told me she was in her 80s. I was in India for the birth of my first grandson, and I came back and she had passed away, and I went to her memorial. She was 94, and she one day went to the restroom at night and they found her on the floor. She walked every day for 2 miles. She looked like as a matter of fact, the people who installed her gardens called her La Modella. She looked like a model, and she was as healthy as can be. She squared the curve. And that's what I want to do. That's what we all want to do. Live until, oh, we just can't take it anymore. And then it's time to go.
Absolutely. So, Jill has said hi to us. She's watching. I wanted to say hi to Jill.
Hi.
And I think Jill was on, we just got off of doing a live on Nan's channel. I think Jill was watching us there. She came over here. Thank you for coming over. If anybody's watching this video, and you are interested in the bundle, look at the description below. There's links to purchase the bundle. And the bundle is only available for sale till tomorrow. Remember that. I have a few questions. So I was totally impressed. I was actually watching your interview with Ellen Allard. Was it
Yeah.
Ellen? I think it was Ellen. And you guys mentioned Pam Popper.
Yeah.
And I went, what? Did they say Pam Popper? Like, what? And I went, I think that's that lady. I'm like, yeah. I only started following her like 3 years ago because of the way she was talking about what happened 3 years ago. But she's plant food, whole foods, like great. And you guys mentioned her, and I was like, wait, what? And so did you learn from her? Did you go to her classes?
So that class that was promoted at this botanic garden was his education his certification came from the Wellness Forum. That is the company of Pam Popper in Ohio. Then when I heard, and I loved what I heard, I knew I needed to learn more. When I heard she had a conference coming up, I flew to Ohio, and it was a 4-day conference. I was there. So I flew in early. It started at 5, and I was there 5 days. And I learned so much that I decided to get that same certification. I wasn't ready to start teaching then, but I wanted to get the facts. And yes, it was Pam Popper's company, and she's still very active and had been for decades before that. I interviewed earlier in this week Chef Del Schroff, who, when I was at the Wellness Forum and went to this conference, he was the chef that was making the food for the conference. She even had him make packaged foods that people could go in and purchase. So there was quite a tie-in there with Dr. Pam Popper. Yeah.
That's awesome. And also when you were talking to Ellen, no, I think, was this Ellen? I don't know. You have to remind me, but you made a mock tuna salad.
Yes, that was Kathy Hester. When I was with Kathy Hester, I'll tell you what I have in my bundle. This is
Yes. Tell us what's in your bundle. Absolutely.
All right, well, let me back it up. Okay, so no, let me show you the front page. And everybody's bundle offering it's like the front page of a book. You're going to see something that is descriptive in whatever way they decided to submit it. Cook, eat, and live for vibrant health. So what was this about, and why did I do this? Before I knew about the bundle, actually I knew about it. I didn't think I was going to submit anything. And Chef AJ and I are friends. And she said, Nan, what are you going to have for the bundle? Nothing. What do you mean nothing? You've got to have something. I had already, I love certifications. I have the T. Colin Campbell certification for plant-based nutrition. And I had just gotten another certification from for a program called the Chef Coaching Training Program, and Chef stood for for Nan. Culinary Health Education Fundamentals. And it was offered by the teaching arm of Harvard University. And this certification was put into place to teach people, to teach others about cooking at home for health and for longevity, and for understanding how to make food rather than always feel that it had to be purchased. Because most people now, actually 65% of the food that Americans eat is processed food. The rest, a lot of the rest, is food they get at fast food restaurants, and restaurants loaded with what we call addictive elements, and that's salt, oil, and sugar. If I get on my little soapbox, I'm going to go ahead and do that for a minute. We were evolutionarily designed to go for caloric density. It kept us alive. Certain things ping our evolutionary hunger drive, or our dopamine neurotransmitter. And those are the things that are easily digested, high in calories, like sugar. The processed fats, there's another reason around there, but fats are very calorically dense. And so they are something that we can crave. And then sugar, did I say sugar? So salt, oil, and sugar. When you put them together, it's almost a drug. It pings everything in us evolutionarily, and we simply want more. Dopamine I call it, it's an applause, and it's a driver. In other words, it makes us feel good for what we've accomplished. But dopamine is also the neurotransmitter of drive. It makes us go back to that again and again. That's how babies learn to suckle, because there's a bit of sugar, there's a bit of sweetness in the mother's milk. Casomorphines keep the cow going back to the udder, etc. Well, these things that we're eating now in America keep us going back to them. And unfortunately, they find those in very high quantities in restaurants, fast food, manufactured foods, and whole foods that are plant-based don't hit it the same way. And so it's really easy for, I'll say, industry to pull people in and keep them there. So what I was learning was how to encourage people to cook at home, eat at home. Well, I think one of the most underserved populations, and unfortunately maybe not as motivated to search that out, is the elderly. And by elderly, I just mean senior citizens. I mean those of us even over 40 or 50. As I said, I'm 73 now, but the group that goes to a senior center that I decided to offer this program for range anywhere from their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. And so I brought them a 5-week program, and each week I taught a different meal and recipes that they could have for that meal. Really simple stuff. That recipe, so I had recipes for breakfast, recipes for, it was 5 or 6 or 7 recipes for breakfast, lunch, dinner, then snack and dessert, and then one training video, because I brought these to them and played them in a room on a screen, because I couldn't bring all the foods that I wanted to show them. It was best just to do it in my kitchen, explain it to them, show them a video, and then have questions and answers. And that was the format. And that's why it was so easy when Chef AJ said, well, Nan, you must have something. I thought, wait a minute, I have 5 1-hour videos, approximate 1-hour videos. And it was all part of a package, plus the 25 recipes that became Cook, Eat, and Live. So the point of this is to encourage people with really basic meals, how to make their own breakfasts, how to make their own lunches, with a lot of batch cook ideas, how to make their own dinner, snacks, and desserts, and then things to prep food, cook food, and then store food. That's what my bundle offering is.
That's fantastic. For people who don't know me, I've been teaching healthy, whole, organic, vegan foods for 27 years. And I've seen it grow so much in 27 years. And I have been doing what you just described only a long time ago. There wasn't other people doing it. So I get excited in the bundle with all the people jumping aboard the bandwagon and all these conversations that we've had all this week. You guys are, what's the saying when people are saying the same thing as you or something? It's like, you don't like one of the pillars that you used in Powerfully, or feeling alone or whatever. You don't want to feel alone. You want to feel like there's a community of people, and because I'm in Michigan and I do feel pretty alone. There are a lot of vegan people in Michigan, so that's great and everything, but Whole Foods vegan, they kind of like, junk food vegan here. I went to I presented at some health fairs, and I cooked my food and they loved it, and I was selling my cookbooks, but then they had like food trucks with vegan food and other things like that. There wasn't anything I would eat. It was vegan junk food. And I was looking at it going, yeah, that's not, but I digress. It has nothing to do with the bundle. And what you have in the bundle looks beautiful. And I don't mean to change the subject, but I have to ask you this question, because when you were on with Ellen, you made this mock tuna salad, and you use silken tofu, which I use all the time. And you said you used organic. Now, I used to get organic silken tofu, and they stopped making it. And this was years ago. I called the company. I said, why did you stop making the organic? Okay. And so when you said you were using organic, I'm like, I have to ask her what organic, because I can't find it organic anymore.
That is the Nori Mu, right? Or Mori Mu.
Yes. Mori Mu.
Yeah,
Yep.
they're green box, because I get it from our Whole Foods. It's not Whole Foods Market, but our natural food market. And I get it from Trader Joe's does not have it. So the natural foods markets have the shelf stable, and I love that silken tofu. And the Mori New does have a green box that is organic, and that's the one I always use. I very much prefer all soy to be organic.
Me too, absolutely. Now, is it soft? Is the green box soft?
It's just like that. It's the that kind of carton that you pull up the little edges, snip it, and then
because this says extra firm. I like the extra firm or the firm.
No, this one is. Can I run and get it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me just
run
show
and get
you. I'll be right back.
Yeah, because this is important, because I always advertise and say, in my cooking class, not advertise, in my cooking classes, I say, if it's made with soybeans, it's got to be organic. And I used to be able to get this organic from Mori New, and they changed, and I called the company and they said they weren't doing organics anymore. So I need to find out from Nan about this. And if you're just tuning in right now, I see Jill gets it at Sprouts. That's awesome. Leave a comment. Say hi. Where are you tuned in? I'm in Michigan, the absolutely beautiful state of Michigan. And Nan and I are talking about the bundle that's only available for purchase tomorrow, Sunday, March 10th. You have to get it. It's $49, over $8,000 worth of merchandise. Nan just told us about this incredible course that she has in the bundle, where she's going to teach you breakfast, lunch, snacks. And this is how you're going to improve your health with whole foods from Mother Earth that's not tampered with. And right now, Nan and I are discussing organic Mori New silken tofu, because we both use it all the time.
I buy it. And it is organic. You can see it says organic right there. And it's just they just say silken tofu. It's not soft. It's not firm. It's simply silken tofu. And
I swear to God, I'm going to call the company again, because I've been using this for so many years, and it was a few years back. They took the organic off of this, and I called them and I said, why is it not organic anymore? And they gave me some spiel. And since then, I've been buying this one because I didn't think they offered it organic. So I'm so glad that I saw that. And I'm definitely going to look for it.
Gluten-free? And well, is it at least non-GMO?
Yes,
Okay. And is it
absolutely.
gluten-free? There'll be a little, yeah,
Yes.
that's nice too. That means
But you need,
it's not run in a factory that uses other things that are gluten. But yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely organic.
Or,
So
yeah, we got to get organic. I always, especially if it's soybeans, I'm always saying get organic, get organic. But I thought I didn't have a choice, and now I know
I buy 6 and 7 of these at a time. I just made some salad dressing yesterday with this and miso and tamari and mustard and date paste, and it's this really richly flavored salad dressing that I love on kale mixed whole grain chopped salads. And I put everything else in there, fruits and everything, and it needs a real strong dressing to stand up to it. But I use this for everything. In the bundle, I mix this with avocado and cocoa, and it makes a pudding that people who are not plant-based love just as much as a real rich egg-based, cream-based chocolate pudding. The recipe that Val is talking about is a rich and creamy mayo that is, I believe it's in the lunch grouping, but you're getting an entire list of the 25 recipes with the non-tuna salad, because I'm teaching how to do nourish bowls in lunch, and I'm teaching how to do open-faced sandwiches. You'd think, and you're going to say, what are you doing, Nan? What do you mean open-faced sandwiches? Everyone knows how to do that. Well, I'm encouraging the seniors there to see how easy it is. Toast a couple of pieces of bread, either put the avocado my husband uses. He eats an entire avocado a day, and he's very healthy even doing that, and his weight is perfect. And on mine, I use the non-tuna if I'm going to do an open face, but 2 pieces of bread, either one of the non-tuna or of a smashed avocado, that onion, tomato, sprouts, big bunch of lettuce, and it's a delicious sandwich that is easy to make. And again, if you look at some of the recipes, like I taught how to use the Instant Pot to do quinoa quickly, but I also show doing it in a pot. Again, you may think, boy, Nan, that's so rudimentary. Well, that was because I'm teaching people who I'm trying to
from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, the point I made at the beginning of the class, Nan and I are teachers, so I do the same thing. People don't know how to cook millet, and I cook millet sometimes fancy where I put vegetables in it, but just the basics. How do you cook it? Now, I find it interesting. Cook quinoa quickly in an Instapot when quinoa cooks very quickly on the stove. Also, I hate to be like that. I'm so old fashioned. I literally use my stovetop for everything. I don't have an Instapot. Now I do have a pressure cooker, but I just do it on the stovetop. I'm old fashioned. I'm some people, and I get my mom, she loves kitchen gadgets. And I know, like Kathy Hester, I love her, and she has all her gadgets. I am so not a gadget person. I'm so simple. I don't get into the gadget things. But Jill, who's watching us, says that she got your cookbook yesterday, and she's fascinated by Nan and her vibrancy because Jill is 74. And so she's and she said she gets the organic silken tofu from Sprouts. And I'm so gonna, and if I can't find it at a store, I guess I'm gonna order it. I've never even looked for it because I didn't know that it existed anymore. You know, the company told me they weren't doing it anymore. So, when you were on with Ellen, you mentioned Julia Childs, and I know we're vegan. I get it. But I'm sorry, if you are somebody who's in cooking like me, she started the cooking shows way back when. She was the first, and she was the groundbreaker. And I remember watching her shows, and she was so entertaining. I do remember that very much, and I thought that was cute that you mentioned Julia Childs.
It was almost inappropriate considering the audience. But as I said to her, and I'll tell you my same analogy, I consider my head like a gumball machine. There's that doesn't take coins. In other words, if there's something up here, it comes rolling down and right out of my mouth before I can stop it. And we were talking about how we both cook our chickpeas. I do it in the Instant Pot. I like to start something and walk away. I do my oat groats in the Instant Pot. I do the quinoa because I can put it in and basically walk away. I can go to the sauna, I can get on my bike and ride, and I don't have to think about it. Again, I come back and it's ready to lay out and cool off. Well, I did the same thing with 3 pounds of chickpeas and Instant Pot, cool them off, drain them, and then I package them. And I said to Kathy, I lay them on a cookie sheet, freeze them that way, and then package. And she said, "Oh, I'm just lazy." She's not lazy at all. She's a hard working woman. And she said, I put them in the bag, the Ziploc, and get the air out, put it in. She says, but I love the satisfaction of whacking it. Well, right out of my mouth flew a comment about I was born in January of 51. I've got those years on me that allow me to remember the show that came on all the time of Julia Child. And Julia would teach us cooking in the French way. And she was a robust woman and she would move like this. Mm-hmm. And she would cook either a big capon, which is a big fat bird chicken, a male chicken, I think, or a turkey. And she would talk about it and she'd smack it in the breast and smack it. And that's what came flying out of my mouth. And I thought, wrong audience, Nan.
I know, but we all have childhood memories, like that. And it's perfectly fine to talk about that. I found it interesting. I think years ago, I watched a PBS special about her and they were showing what it was like on her TV show. Cause all we saw was her and she was making the food and it looked great. Well, underneath the countertop were all these people standing there, handing her stuff and helping her and stuff. And we're like, okay, so that's like the magic of TV. And then you and I go on YouTube and stuff, and it's like, it's just me. I don't have an assistant over here. I don't have anybody handing me stuff. It's just me. And she had all these people that we couldn't see, helping her.
Her show was marvelous. And I wasn't thinking whole food, plant-based. And I wasn't thinking it until I got sick. And I got sick because of the standard American diet. And if I think about it, that was in mid 2018. Had I not changed, by now, I would be so sick. I would have bags full of pills. I'd be minus a perfectly good gallbladder because it certainly is now. Yeah. And I would be, almost crippled from arthritis. It would have just gone on and on. Instead, I feel like I've aged backwards. I feel better, look better. I move better. I ran a half marathon last year. I couldn't even run down the block when I began this. So it's you know what? It's likened to our emotions about the bundle in that I can't stop talking about whole food, plant-based lifestyle and lifestyle as medicine and the pillars. I do and I'll finish that sentence. Any more than for this day and a half, I can stop talking about the bundle, because if something has proven itself to be of value, it's very difficult not to want to pass it along. I do a support group on a weekly basis for the clinic, and then I do one for a group of people as part of something that I call PowerPoints. Well, at the clinic, if you have an appointment, you get on a clipboard, you get a form to note how you're doing in your pillars of health. That's the first thing the doctor wants to know. Are you prioritizing sleep? How stressed are you? How much movement have you been doing on an average? Are you connected with people who care about you and whom you care about, or at least connected to people? And then are you staying away from addictive substances? And are you moving? Are you moving on a regular basis? And that's the same thing we do in this group I'm in. We start out with what we call check-in. and they can do it really fast. Yeah, I've been great with my food, or no, I went to somebody's house and did a da da da. One of our people said, "You know what I had last week?" He said, "I had pork rinds," and the group kind of went da na 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 na. It was like, what? But it happens. And who said this? Was it you, Val, who said it's not what you do all of the time? It's not what you do. Wait, it's not what you do some of the time. It's what you do most of the time that matters. Some people, I'm real clean, and so is my husband, really clean about our choices. I do what some people do as it relates to choices, and I'll look at food and say, that's not my food. It's just not my food. And so I'm not even tempted to eat it. It's not what I do anymore. And some people just don't have that. They just don't want to make those choices. But what we do most of the time can keep us healthy for decades longer than the standard American diet, both in lifestyle and in food. So anyway, what else?
Yeah. So while you guys, because you were talking about tofu, I was talking about tofu, and you and Ellen started talking about soy milk, which I adore. Although I don't do soy milk every day. For me, it's not. But anyways, I'm sorry, they're not in business anymore. There was a place here in Michigan in Royal Oak that made tofu from scratch. Wow. Oh my God, it was the most delicious tofu. It was organic, obviously. And I would drive to Royal Oak, which is about a 25-minute ride from my house, once a month, and pick up a whole case. And I just used it. And the guy who made the tofu, he told me this, and I wanted to share this because see if you've ever heard this. So when they make the tofu and they cook the soybeans and it coagulates and the tofu comes together, and the liquid that's left is the soy milk. And that soy milk, if you make it from scratch, is fresh, and it kind of tastes very soy-y. It tastes a lot like beans. All soy milk that you buy in a carton from the store, and I buy carton soy milk, he told me that they add something to it. It's not like it's horrible, it's going to kill you or something, but there's something added to it to try and take that really intense soy flavor away. And so he gave me some of the real soy milk and there's a large Asian population that lived in that area, and they would come directly to him, and they wanted that fresh soy milk because they knew that thing was not added to it. And the flavor was dramatically different from what I got from him, from what's in the carton. And I love the stuff in the carton, and I do drink it all the time. I'm not saying it's bad for you. It was a taste difference. And I think you guys were talking about making soy milk from scratch, which is something I've always wanted to do and have not done it yet. But I guess, did you ever hear that, or did you ever taste real soy milk? Like,
as a matter of fact, what I know of soy milk is that you cook it and then you grind it up and you strain it, and there's your soy milk. And that's what they were talking about. Both of them, let me get my notes from our talk, and that was the talk with Ellen.
Yeah. Now I'm not a gadget person, but if I had a soy milk maker, I would definitely use that gadget, because that's always been on my things that I would want to do, is make soy milk from scratch, because I think it would just be phenomenal.
Both Kathy Hester and Ellen make their own soy milk, and Ellen uses one machine. Kathy Hester uses, oh, Nan, I don't see my notes from Ellen. Maybe it's because I just interviewed her. They both use a machine, and Ellen uses a different one than Kathy, and both of them put in soybeans, and it heats them and it cooks it, and it then gives you strained soy milk. I buy and no, I don't do that. I think I said it to one of them, or maybe I said it to Ellen, because she and I are friends and we had a conversation. I think I think my brain would explode if I had to now start making my soy milk, because we have a quart. Is it a quart? Yeah, a quart of soy milk every day between my husband and myself. There have been people, there still are people who fear soy. It's a
Yes.
it's a
Yes.
outdated concept that the phyto estrogens in soy are damaging. And I use the analogy and the story of Dr. Christy Funk, an oncologist who wrote the book Breasts, the Owner's Manual. And she wrote in that book, it's probably 20 years ago that she wrote it. She wrote in the book that you should not have soy. Stay away. Phytoestrogens, bad for you. They can, a lot of cancers are proliferated because of an excess of estrogen. And then she started worrying about the amount of recurrence of patients who had breast cancer, and she was disillusioned by the amount of women who had it even for the first time, and she wanted to prevent breast cancer. So she did a deep dive nutritionally. She was so stunned by what she found. She said, I can't believe nobody told me these things. By what she found, that she, and this is, I love this story, that she went and she had teenage boys that she, well, young teenage, preteen and teenage, went home. She was so stunned that she went home and announced to the family, boys and husband, we're going vegan. And the boys said, yay. And then said, what's vegan? Nobody knew what she was talking about, because what she found from her research is that milk casein helps proliferate cancer, and that plant or animal proteins cause the proliferation of cell growth, IGF-1, and the effects of mTOR, which are highly inflammatory, all from animal protein. And they went plant-based, but then even more, she did a deep dive into soy and found instead of being dangerous, it's actually protective.
Yes.
Because you have
Absolutely.
receptors, estrogen receptors, those little soy receptors, that soy estrogen, which is much weaker than our physiological estrogens, dock and prevent the other estrogens from causing problems. And so all of this to say that I love soy. As a matter of fact, we have a quart a day of soy milk. But what I was going to say about my soy milk is that I get a 2-ingredient soy milk, water and soy. I'm very close to a Trader Joe's. So if you listen to my videos, I'll say I got this from Trader Joe's, that from Trader Joe's. I love the place because you can get organic things and not pay an arm and a leg over conventional products. Their organic is really well priced. Their soy milk is $2.19 for a quart, and
that's a good price.
Very good price. Nothing but water and soy. There are other brands like West Bray and Silken and some others.
Eden.
Eden, I think, is only water and soy, but it's almost $4 or $5 a quart. That's a big difference.
It is.
And so to save money, you can make it yourself by buying one of the bits of equipment. And if you listen to
Jill says Kathy Hester has a blog about soy milk makers, so that would be a great resource. Now, everything that you said, I have been teaching for 27 years. When I got started in macrobiotic, healthy, whole, vegan cooking, I was taught all about the incredible health benefits of soy, everything that you just said. I started teaching, and then people started coming to me and say, oh, soy's bad for you. Soy's bad for you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Where is this information coming from? It's a lot of research that the scientists were paid off. And so I've always been teaching this. And then I came in contact with Marie Osser, The Skinny on Soy. If you want the best book on soy, you want this, The Skinny on Soy by Marie Osser. I saw her on Facebook, and she was doing a Facebook Live, and she was talking everything I've been teaching for 27 years. What Nan just said, all the glowing health benefits of soy. And I jumped on there, and I became friends with her, although we were like virtual friends or internet friends. We never met each other, but she was a glorious, wonderful person. And this book is the most comprehensive book. She has case studies, scientific studies, everything's just proven in here over and over and over again. And she wrote the introduction to my year-round healthy holiday dishes cookbook. And beautiful lady. And I tell everybody about this book because if you have any doubt about soy, this is a fantastic book. Now, unfortunately, Marie is no longer with us. She passed away, I believe, in 2019 or 2020, but this is a fantastic resource, a fantastic book. And don't be afraid of soy. There's so many people that are afraid of soy, and just with all the health benefits Nan just mentioned, absolutely. I adore soy. I really do.
Dr. Christy Funk now she advises that her patients, all her patients, have at least 1 to 3 servings of soy a day. That's how
Yeah.
she
And
is
then
on it.
you go to a traditional doctor, which I love. Nan was talking about those questions that you should be asked about your lifestyle. Now, traditional doctors are never going to ask you those questions. And one of the first things traditional doctors will do is tell you to stop eating soy. Although they have no health background, they haven't studied nutrition, and they don't know what they're talking about. But that's one of the first things they tell people to stop eating is soy, right? Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of the other things in the bundle that you love?
Well, I interviewed Vicki Brett Gok, and Gok, and she has the mini banana bun cakes that are phenomenal. I interviewed Chef Dell, and he has recipes for salad dressings. Chef Dell has been asked to cook for Forks Over Knives. He was the chef that was instrumental in all of the recipes in one of the Forks Over Knives book, in T. Colin Campbell's family cookbook, as well as Quick and Easy cookbook. In other words, he is an expert at whole food, plant-based, and quite an accomplished chef that is being used by some of the best organizations. He taught at Whole Foods, etc. And he has in the bundle the salad dressing ebook, and everything is oil free, and they are creative recipes. He includes, though, plant-based tartar sauce and mayonnaise and horseradish sauce, and then he gets into salad dressings. And I like his work. And Ellen has a contribution of over 20 breakfast oat recipes that are so creative and so good. And yours, I love what you've produced. There's no end to what we can discover when we start breaking into people's packages.
Yeah.
You take whatever this is, you push the button, and then you start doing a deep dive, and you think, oh my gosh, I want that entire book. Kathy Hester has 6 contributions, and I've never had anything that Kathy Hester has made that hasn't been delicious. And she goes on and on with her training. It's more than more than I can deal with at any one time. So that's the value of a flash drive or downloading it and then opening it up from time to time. Somebody said this, and I love it. You may not want something for Christmas right now, but you may want holiday recipes and about 6 months from now, and you'll be looking for that recipe book. Well, there are seasons as it relates to culinary choices, but there's seasons in our life. I never thought about fascia release, and then I heard Drina Burton, and now I'm all about the importance of fascia release and the understanding of it. To me, it was like your comfrey. Comfrey. What is that? I don't do poultices, and yet now I want to do poultices, and I want to release my fascia. That's the way things are when we're educated, and that's what, to me, this bundle is. One big library that we can store in one tiny little place for next to nothing when you relate it to how else we spend that kind of money. My husband and I said this in our last talk. My husband, I think it was with you, maybe it was earlier. My husband and I do a walk. We both exercise for a half an hour to an hour in the morning, and I cycle. I love to cycle. And at night after dinner, we walk for a half an hour. It helps jiggle your bowels. It gives you a chance
Mhm.
to talk, and it's just a refreshing way to get movement without sitting in front of a TV glued to a show that, isn't going to improve your health, but walking does. So we saw somebody carrying, what do you think they were carrying in hands like this up to a front door? It was 2 boxes of pizza. And I had to
Yeah.
comment on it. It was 8 o'clock at night. That's pretty darn late to be eating a grease pit. And I commented, I said, everybody in that house is excited about this guy walking through the door. Most of us, a lot of us grew up thinking that was pretty good food. At one time, I would
Yes.
have. I mean, it was a big treat to have these boxes of pizza that dripped the cheese, and people would eat until they're full. This stuff that had nothing good in it for our body. As a matter of fact, damaged our body. And yet, that's what
Yes.
Americans do because they don't know better. All of this is knowing better and then deciding, wait, that's no longer my food. Actually, it is. We can make the pizza lady. There's a pizza lady in the bundle who's making crusts that are gluten free. That's part of what I have to have. And there are plenty of gluten free pizzas, cheese free, and not even fake cheese free, but just plain cheese free. You don't need the cheese. You can do
No.
things like cashew creams on them, and the pizzas are fantastic. So, yeah.
I have I haven't even opened the pizza one yet, although I've
Mhm.
seen it and definitely am interested, but I haven't even got a chance to open it
Yeah.
yet because there's just so
Yeah.
much. Before we wrap up, tell everybody your website, your Facebook, your Instagram. How can people find you and follow
Okay.
you?
YouTube is where I'm most active, and that's YouTube Nan Simonsen. And then I have a Facebook group, Power Agers, and you can find me under uh, Facebook, Aging Powerfully with Nan. Aging Powerfully with Nan. And I have a Instagram channel. I don't do much there, but I'm trying to do more because there's an entire generation I want to speak to, even though they're not old ladies like me. I still want people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s to pay attention to these things that can make such a difference to them. And so I do have an Instagram channel, and that's also Aging Powerfully with Nan. I don't do anything else, just those. Did I get? Oh, and
Yeah.
my website. Yeah, my website is where you can get to everything, and that's just
Yeah.
nansimonsen.com.
NanSimonsen.com is Nan's website. Macroval.com is my website. You only have till tomorrow to buy this bundle. Are you kidding me? I have 3 lives planned for tomorrow. And other than that, I also have a customer. See, I cook for a living, and I have a customer who ordered a huge order from me. So when I'm not doing the lives, I'm going to be cooking. What are you going to be doing on the last day of the bundle, Nan?
Oh, you shouldn't have asked me that. I'm taking the day off. I have
Oh, well, good for you. You've been busy for a week.
I'll post on Instagram a couple of times. And I think we've got a newsletter going out. But my husband's a CPA and tax attorney, and this is tax season. So he's working six
Oh,
days
yes.
a week, late into the night. We do date night on Friday night, and we go to an Asian place that does low, almost no oil, and just nothing but vegetables. And they're incredible. We did that last night. But Sunday is our day. And I just don't interrupt our Sundays. We do a long ride, an hour and a half bike ride. We then go to the only vegan restaurant in our area that doesn't mess up vegan food because most
Mhm.
places serve vegan food like American junk food. They fry things,
Yes.
they coat things, they oil and grease up things. They think vegan
Yes.
healthy isn't the same. Well, they don't get whole food plant-based. If it says vegan, they think it's healthy, and that is absolutely not the case. So we've got this vegan restaurant in our area called Oasis, and it's not even a restaurant. It's a window you go up to and order, and then you can go to a back room and have this amazing meal. So we go there every Sunday. Then we go to a farm store. They're on 15 acres, and every morning they pick what they're going to be selling, and it's a plethora of things. And we come back with all these vegetables, and then we spend the afternoon together, and it's precious. So he's watched me enough not be available for other things, being busy with this, and I wasn't going to take that away from him. So Val, while you're doing your duty at the last day of the bundle, I'm not.
Yeah. So I didn't even get a chance to ask you, but I'm in Michigan. You're in California, yes, or where are
Southern
you?
California, 60
I thought so.
due
Yeah.
east of Los Angeles by 60 miles, and I am west of Palm Springs by about 60 miles. So I'm directly in between Palm Springs and Los Angeles in Southern California.
Nice.
And it's been raining off and on, and we felt so sorry for ourselves. And it was 60s and 50s, and we felt so sorry for ourselves. And Val's going to reach through the phone or the computer and slap me because she's in Michigan. And
No, I tell you, I adore Michigan. I am a Michigan girl. I was born here. I'm the third generation born here. I would never live anywhere else. I absolutely love it. I love the snow. People can complain about it, but in fact, I only went ice skating once this year because of our terrible, crappy winter weather here. We had a warm winter. Usually I go ice skating once a week. I love ice skating. I have been snowshoeing before, which is so much fun. The snow is so beautiful. I do love spring, and I'm a summer person. Summer is my favorite. I got to admit it. But I'm a 4-season type of gal. I just love Michigan. So I don't complain. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. I just love it
okay.
here. So
Okay.
yeah, it's wonderful when you love where you live.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I love where I live. It's where I was born and raised. But we're spoiled by weather. Well, actually, we are in an area that gets very, very hot in the summer. We'll have a dozen or more 100+ degree days. So we have the other end of it.
And don't you find, although I've been eating healthy, whole organic food, when it gets to be 100 degrees, because it does get to 100 degrees here in
No.
Michigan, I'm comfortable. And everybody else who eats average American is like, handle it. And I'm like, I'm comfortable. Have you found that too?
Well, I hadn't thought of it, but I think we can handle everything better. When our bodies are constantly balanced with antioxidants, phytonutrients, phytochemicals, polyphenols, vitamins, minerals, plant-based protein, which is more alkaline
Yes.
than acidic, whereas meat is very acidic. Our body is cooler because we're not a flame.
Yes.
We're so much more comfortable in our body when we're eating a clean, whole food, plant-based diet that I think we can take just about anything better, which means our brains work better.
Yes.
Which means we're not all fired up and anxious all the time. All of those things come from our food, and it sounds like an exaggeration, but it's really not.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so wonderful talking to like-minded people who get it.
Yeah. Isn't that true? So
what are some, okay, we're going to wrap up here because we've been going live for an hour. So any last minute thoughts or things you want to say?
No, I'll just say that if I hadn't had lifestyle as medicine training, if I hadn't had a whole food, plant-based dietary style to fall back on, I may still, as I said earlier, not only have a lot of chronic disease plaguing me, but I don't know that I could have ever gotten off that roller coaster of an eating disorder, bulimia. It's one of the worst, simply because it can be hidden, people don't know, and it can run your life. And as much as every day I woke up saying, I won't do that anymore. I'm done with that. Or I've gone a week or I've gone a month. Wow, look at me, I'm cured. It would come right back again. And that's not the case. Because I have no food fears, I can eat food that I know is going to nourish my body, but also allows me to stay at a comfortable physical place. In other words, I can fit in certain clothes that months later I'll still fit in without even thinking about it. Years later, still fit in without thinking about it, and not have to stress about all that. People are owned sometimes by the stress and the concern over what our food does for us or to us. The problem is addictive foods make it really, really hard to eat without overeating, whereas plant-based foods eaten cleanly make it very easy to stay full, satisfied, really ultra nourished. Again, that brain and microbiome and the serotonin and dopamine and epinephrine, all of that balanced so that you just feel great and you feel calm. I am grateful every day that I'm not that other person I would have been had I not changed 6 years ago. And I'm convinced 100% that this is the reason. And I implore people to work diligently to maintain your good health, especially in this way if it serves you well as well, because it's just easy and it's delicious. And this bundle can give us everything we need to make it happen.
Yeah. And so Jill asked, Nan, is Oasis in Riverside?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually attached to a Seventh-day Adventist store called the La Sierra Whole Foods Market or Natural Foods Market. And so they're closed on Saturday. So we have to go on Sunday.
Okay.
And the rest of the week we're working. And so that's our Sunday treat. During the meal, every single time we both say, oh no, it's almost finished. And we eat a lot. And because it's just so good and so perfect, perfectly clean. So yep, it's in Riverside.
Awesome. All right. So everybody, the Vegan Health Bundle. It is a collection of over 150 people, just like Nan and myself, that have contributed amazing things such as cookbook, cooking class courses. Mine is Healing with Food, compresses, poultices, teas, and more. There's a whole gut program by Dr. McDougall. So there's a lot of nutritional information in here too. Over $8,000 worth of merchandise for only $49. And you can buy it. Link is in the description of this video. The link is on my website. The link is on all of Nan's social media posts and her website. And so I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. And
can I add something? I'm
Yes.
sorry. I found that note on our conversation, on my conversation with Ellen that I was looking for earlier. If you're interested in the soy milk making machines, Ellen has Soy Bella. It's just called Soy Bella. And Kathy Hester uses Miromat, M-I-O, Miromat, Miromat. And it's a pricier one. Kathy likes it. She's familiar with both, and she likes it better, but admits that they're both really good.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
now finish up.
And thank you, Nan, for being my special guest. It's been a pleasure talking with you. And so tomorrow's the last day. Make sure you get that bundle, and we'll say goodbye for now. And remember, get in the kitchen